to order. I had asked Brother Eric Walker from the Franklin Community Church to come and offer an opening prayer this morning. And Brother Walker has experienced a sad situation. His father has passed away just some days ago, and I really wasn't sure if he would be here, but I'll let Brother Walker tell what his daddy would have told him if he hadn't shown up. But brother, just know this, we're praying for you and your family, and we're glad to have you here to offer prayer up for our county this morning. Right here, yes sir.
Well, Judge, I want to say thank you for this opportunity and everybody on the panel. I have the privilege to pray at the city commission meeting, and it is an honor and definitely a privilege to pray here for the county. I do a lot of things in this community, but one of the greatest things that I can do is pray for this community. So it is an honor for everybody. So thank you for this privilege. Yes, I lost my dad Friday, who was a pastor for over 40 years. And Mason said, well, I didn't think he was coming. I said, my dad would have killed me if I didn't show up and pray for the county. So, because I know this is what he would want me to do. So thank you guys. So I know you're not here to hear me, but I just get excited when I can pray for people. It is a blessing, and you guys do a great job. And know that I'm praying for you guys. So let's go ahead and pray.
Thank you.
Father, I thank you so much for this privilege and this opportunity. Father, I pray that you will give this panel and those around this panel the spirit of wisdom and revelation and insight. Father, that they can make decisions that would impact this county in such a positive way. But Father, I pray that you watch over them as they make decisions, that you will guard them. Because some decisions are not easy decisions, some are hard decisions. But Father, I just pray that whatever decision that they make, that it would constantly be an impact for the good. Father, I thank you for the opportunity to be here. And I thank you for those that are here today. I thank you for this moment. This is a special moment because there are decisions that's going to impact this county. But most of all, Father, we get to celebrate your son this weekend. That's a major thing that we're grateful for. And most of all, we thank you for your mercy. We thank you for your grace. And we thank you for loving us even when we fall short. You're an amazing God. You're a great God. And we thank you. And Father, I just ask that you would have your presence in this room today. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Brother Eric. If everyone would stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're honored to have Isaac Myers with us this morning. Isaac, do you want to share anything, or are you just here to visit?
I'm here to introduce myself to the members of the board.
Well, come on up here and let everyone know who you are and what you're all about.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge. My name is Isaac Myers. I'm the field representative with the Department for Local Government in the Governor's Office. And I wanted to come and officially introduce myself to some new members of the court. So good to meet you, fellows. So congratulations on your election. I know it's been 4 months or 5 months since you won, but congratulations. This is the first meeting I've attended since then. And if I can ever be a resource to you, please let me know. The ones I have not met, I put a card at your place. So you've got my cell phone and my email. Contact me anytime. Thank you.
I appreciate you being here and appreciate what you do to help us here in Simpson County.
Yes, sir.
Do we have any other public comment? If not, we'll move right on into our regular business. Gentlemen, if you've had an opportunity to review the minutes from our April 2nd meeting, I would need a motion and a second to approve those minutes.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion by Myron and a second by Nate.
Myron Thurman.
Yes.
Nathaniel Downing.
Yes.
Marty Chandler.
Yes.
Scott Poston. Mason Lawrence.
Yes. Next up, we are honored to have Christy Ramey with us from the Simpson County Extension Agency. She wants to come and talk about getting us healthy, I think.
A little bit.
You can pull it down.
Pull that down just a little bit.
There you go.
Okay. Well, prior to last year we suspended the walk with elected officials, but 2 years prior to that, our Get Healthy Simpson coalition that I chair decided that walking with elected officials was a good thing to do and to invite the public to do. We know that there's limits and that only one or two can come at a time, or it's considered a public meeting and we can't, I guess we, can't do that. But we, in the past, have invited a council member, a city council member, and a magistrate to come and be together and walk with concerned citizens about talk about topics they want to talk about, but mostly walk, get out in the fresh air, look at the condition of our sidewalks, the condition of our parks, and see if there were improvements that could be made or things that could be adjusted for everyone to have safe walks and safe access to our facilities. So last year being an election year, we didn't want to get all tangled up in that too much, so we decided to wait until the new magistrates were elected and then try again. I have contacted both you guys, the magistrates, or, well, actually I talked to Pam, so to get on this, to get on the agenda. And then I also talked to City Council because it takes both of you all. And the City Council seems to have a plan already in place to do a walking program. So if the magistrates are so inclined to participate, and I have some dates, and these are just tentative as to if you can, or even if you decide it's a good thing or not a good thing, that possibly instead of asking City Council, we ask other elected officials, maybe the sheriff, maybe the jailer, maybe the county court clerk or someone of that nature to join. But other elected officials could also walk with a magistrate, and you could share ideas and listen to public opinion on matters. You just really never know what's going to come up. We try to guide the conversation so it's nice and friendly, and everybody is happy when it's over. But and Mason, you've been on.
I've done 2 or 3. I think
year before
last.
He was one of our best attendees. He would get a gold star, actually, for the walks in the past.
That's for showing up, Myron, not for walking well.
So we would invite you to think about doing this. The dates I have tentatively scheduled would be the Tuesdays in May, starting on May 7th. And we have in the past gone between the courthouse square, just walking around the courthouse, and different streets around the courthouse to Jim Roberts Park. So May 7th would be around the square. May 14th would be a 5 o'clock meeting at Jim Roberts Park. May 21st would be again around the square, but 11:30. So we try to meet people who might be at lunch and want to walk with elected officials. Maybe they live out of town or have night meetings, and maybe they can take their lunch time and walk 30 minutes or meet elected officials and then leave, whatever they want to do. And then Jim Roberts Park at 5 o'clock helps us to see what goes on there after hours and get the people who are at work, maybe other places, and can make it to those meetings. So again, this is just casual walks, casual discussion, and Mr. Barnes, you know kind of how it's gone in the past, and it's always been well, don't want to say a good time, but it has been.
Yeah, it was good.
It has been a good time, and you get a lot of ideas and hear some suggestions maybe you wouldn't hear otherwise.
Right.
So anyway, I'm just going to leave these flyers. Again, they're just tentative. If these dates aren't good, we can change them, but I just kind of need to know ahead of time to get an audience or to get people there.
Okay.
So I will leave this in. Thank you so much for allowing me to come.
All right,
I
thank
appreciate that.
Thank you, Christie.
All right, thank you.
All right, gentlemen, next on the agenda is to review or approve the second reading and passage of zone change ordinance number 920-108. It is a zone change from, I gotta get this bigger to see it, from ag to R2 on, out on Highway 100 West. So if there's no questions, we'd need a motion and a second to approve this zone change ordinance.
So moved.
Marty's got a motion.
Second.
Myron, second.
Martin Chandler,
Yes.
Myron Thurman.
Yes.
Scott Poston.
Yes.
Nathaniel Downing,
Yes.
Mason Barnes.
Yes. Next on the agenda is to review or approve a resolution adopting fiscal year 1920 County Road Aid Cooperative Program Agreement.
So moved.
Marty's made a motion to approve that.
Second.
Nate seconded.
Y'all know what that is, right? On 3% money? Okay.
Marty Chandler,
Yes.
Nathaniel Downing,
Yes.
Scott Poston.
Yes.
Myron Thurman,
Yes.
Mason Barnes.
Yes. The next couple of items the sheriff may want to come and speak to is to approve resolution 2019-04-16 KOHS. It's authorizing a grant application for the sheriff's department. This was a grant that got approved last fiscal year, and they kept checking on the grant and where it was at, and evidently the paper got misplaced where the application went to. And the question come, they needed the judge executive signature, but when we called, they said for me to sign it, we would need the current court approval. So I'll let the sheriff explain what this grant's for.
Yeah, long story short, firearms that were seized by KRS law years ago are to be turned over to the state police unless they're put into official use. We don't sell them at the sheriff's office anymore. That goes to the state police sells them at firearms auctions. That money is put into a grant program that is meant to furnish vests to participating agents. Last year, the grant runs from May to May. We had come to fiscal court, mainly different people, Marty would have been here at the time, and asked to do this grant. It's a $7,800 grant. There are no guarantees. It doesn't cost us anything, doesn't cost fiscal court anything. We just put in for it. Usually within a few months of that, you'll hear something that you've been awarded it, and you can, vests are very important. Obviously, it's something our guys have to have, and they expire after so long. So after a few months, we start getting a little worried. So we called at least once a month, every month since then. And the girl just keeps saying, well, something ought to come up, something ought to come up. And they kind of do you in an order. You don't know what order you're in, but as they get money, they've got them in a file and they'll pull one out and say they're received it. So she kept putting us off. Finally, we called the other day and come to find out, not on the sheriff's office part, although we can make mistakes. This was not a mistake on the sheriff's office. The grant coordinators up in Frankfurt had stuck our application in the wrong file. There's another file where you can apply for firearms and ammunition. They hardly ever award anything in there. There's not enough money to put in there, so it's a dead file. They stuck our application in that by mistake. Girl felt horrible about it when she found it. Said, hey, if you hustle up, She said, you got a new county judge, even though it's already been voted on and approved by fiscal court. She basically wanted us to come back to fiscal court for our current year's grant. So it's $7,800. Now in a month, I'll confuse you because I'm going to stand up here and ask for the same thing because we're coming into a new year and you can apply for the grant again. Last year's, we've got guys, those were replaced vests from last year that were running around. So that's what that's about. Any questions about it that I can answer?
No. We just need a motion and a second. Scott's made the motion to approve this resolution 2019-04. Myron seconded.
Scott Poston.
Yes.
Myron Herman.
Yes.
Nathaniel Downing.
Yes.
Marty Chandler.
Yes.
Mason Barnes.
Yes. Next on the agenda is to review or approve the surplus for sale or salvage parts of Sheriff's Department vehicles. I'll turn that over.
We've got vehicle number 7, we number our vehicles so we can keep up with. It's a 2011 Dodge Charger. It's got about 150,000 miles on it. It needs a lifter. Now, I'm not good with mechanical stuff, but I have people that surround me that are. To put a lifter in that vehicle, basically it'll work in reverse, it won't work in forward. To fix that lifter, you have to take the whole top part of the engine off to get in to fix it on a Dodge Charger. I think some vehicles are easier to fix than others. It's a $3,000 fix, so it's either put $3,000 into a vehicle with 150,000 miles on it, or take it off our roster and me try to sell it to maybe some agency that wants to fool with it. And I'm going to include the emergency equipment because it's all old equipment. $2,000 or $3,000 by selling it to come back to the county. And my mechanic that works over at Sheriff's Office says he doesn't think it's worth fixing. So that's where we're at.
So do we just, Sam, we would need a motion to
Declare it surplus.
declare it surplus?
To cannibalize the parts to put on other stuff, I don't really necessarily think you need our action for that.
Well, the reason I asked to do it all at once, Sam, is if we take some parts off of it, we've still got a body sitting there we need to get rid of at some point.
I agree with that. I'm just saying and I just so we're clear, if you want to take parts off of it, you don't obviously need our permission for that. If you want to get rid of what's left for scrap or whatever, then yes, you do.
So basically, you need a motion from us to allow you to declare this as surplus once you have salvaged whatever parts you may need off of it.
I'd like to try to sell it as is.
Okay.
Okay.
But I also don't want to be hamstrung if something goes out and it's going to save us $1,500 to go take something off of it. So whatever the easiest way, I know Pam needs to be able to remove it from insurance, be able to turn the plate in, and it has to be surplus by y'all to be able to do that. I'm not in a rush to sell it. It might take months before we.
No, and that's fine. This is a good way to do it. I'm just saying in the future, I think you've done this in the past. In the future, if you've got an older one and you see a part on something you're taking out of service, you don't need us to do that. That's what I'm saying.
Did you say it's Unit 7 or 17?
It's Unit 7.
Unit 7. So we just need a motion to declare Unit 7 as surplus property.
Do we need to add on that to allow the sheriff to sell it to another government agency?
Yes.
Well, I'd like it just to say be allowed to sell it. My intent is to sell it to a government agency. If we sell it to somebody else, we'll have to take the emergency equipment off. But
Well, you'd also have to bid it if you sell it.
correct, but I'd like to be able to do it. I'd like to be able to sell the vehicle.
Period.
Without having to come back to fiscal court and go through all the hoops.
So we just need
We won't sell it.
We need a motion
My intent is to try to sell it first.
add Unit number 7 to surplus and authorize the sheriff to sell said vehicle.
Yes.
Scott's made the motion.
Second.
Nate second.
Scott Poston.
Yes.
Nathaniel Downing.
Yes.
Marty Chandler.
Yes.
Myron Herman.
Yes.
Mason Barnes.
Yes. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
The only other item here on regular business, gentlemen, and this doesn't really need action, just an acknowledgement that we did receive the Simpson County Extension District fiscal year 1920 budget. It has been received. Moving on to financial business, if you've had an opportunity.
Do we need a motion to?
I think we just acknowledge receipt.
You don't need a motion for that.
Yeah. Moving to financial business, if you've had an opportunity to review the budget transfers, we need a motion and a second to approve those.
Motion to approve the budget.
Nate's made a motion to approve the transfers.
Second.
Mine second.
Great.
Nathaniel Downing,
Yes.
Myron Herman,
Yes.
Scott Poston,
Yes.
Marty Chandler,
Yes.
Mason Barnes,
Yes. Other financial business is if you've had an opportunity to review the claims, bills and claims, we would need a motion and a second to approve those bills and claims.
So moved. I mean, I was just trying to get, I looked over them, I was trying to get them to go back up and pull back in.
Marty's made a motion to approve the bills claims.
Second.
Nate second.
we're ready for vote.
Yes.
Marty Chandler,
Yes.
Nathaniel Downing,
Yes.
Scott Poston,
Yes.
Myron Herman,
Abstain.
Mason Barnes,
Yes. One other piece of financial business, if you've had an opportunity to review the March 31, 2019 financial statement, we would need a motion and a second to approve that statement.
Motion to approve.
Subject to audit.
Correct.
Need a second.
Yeah, Nate made the motion
Second.
to approve the statement subject to audit, and Myron second.
Nathaniel Downing,
Yes.
Myron Herman,
Yes.
Scott Poston,
Yes.
Marty Chandler, Mason Barnes,
Yes. All right, we'll move into some reports. I have just a few things to discuss here. First couple of things is, we're glad that, Bob Matthews is okay. He had a little rear-ended accident, but he's okay. And I want to thank the sheriff for supplying him with a temporary vehicle for a little bit. I also want to thank Bobby Groves and the road crew. I think Sunday they spent a lot of time out clearing up some trees. I don't know if Bobby was exaggerating, but he said one tree they got up was, no exaggeration, it was big. So I think there was, what did you say, like 3 trees, 4 over some county roads. So I want to thank you and your guys for taking your Sunday afternoon and clearing up the roads.
I had to call, I had to text Bobby. Well, it was late that night. Some buddy of mine was coming across Sadler Ford and the water had just come up that day and there was a tree across it too.
Yeah.
Bobby's very responsive and does a good job.
Yeah, those guys do a great job. So I just want to thank you, Bobby, you and your crew. One other thing that I had asked Bobby prior to this meeting, and just I have to get, I guess this would require a vote here, but the city has asked if we could include their asphalt tonnage in our bid. In other words, if whatever we're bidding, could we add that to it that they would get, so we'd all get the same bid price or hopefully even a better price?
We don't bid a certain amount of ton of asphalt though, do we?
Well, no, and they don't either. I think they just bid, they don't bid the quantities.
Right.
No, we just bid for pricing.
Pricing.
Per ton.
And I think they do the same thing.
Yeah. So the question at hand is, could we allow them to be included in that bid?
Sam? I don't know. I'm just trying to, I know what they're saying, but it's two different agencies, and I don't know if 2 different agencies can apply for the same bid.
I mean, I guess technically you could say the city of Franklin and the county of Simpson, bids for asphalt, but
I mean, I guess here's where I'm at. If it helps them and or us in the bid process, I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
I don't have a
It
problem
would be,
with it.
I guess we could have if we have to have a motion, and I'm sure we would, to allow them to be included in the bidding process.
I think you'd have to advertise both governmental bodies, so whoever's bidding knows what, you know, what they're, who and what they're supplying.
Right.
I don't think there's anything necessarily that prohibits it.
Specification the same, I mean, they.
Yeah.
Do we not just advertise for bids for asphalt and crushed stone at the last meeting though?
We haven't done it.
But we didn't.
Approved it, we haven't done it.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it's something that I guess we don't have a problem with, I guess we could have a motion subject to the legalities of it, and have the county attorney and the city attorney determine if it's a doable thing.
Well, it could save money, I mean,
I don't know.
so that, you know, so.
I don't necessarily, I mean, this is, I hate shooting from the hip because you're just as likely to miss as you are to hit. And so, this is off the top of my head, which is, you take it, you get what you pay for, so to speak. I don't necessarily see a problem if everything's out in the open and everybody knows what they're bidding, you know, what it is, you know, you advertise it that way. I mean, I'm tickled pink to talk to my old friend and classmate, the city attorney, and see what his take on it. Has this been broached with them yet?
Yes, they requested it.
Okay, I'm just saying, as I said, I'm playing catch up.
Well, I say they requested, they asked, would we consider it?
I have one question.
Okay.
In the instance that these bids would, you know, we'll probably have two bids, we have last year.
Yes.
In the instance that they were extremely close, which they were last year, and there's discussion, it's not clear cut, maybe there's a discussion of which one you want.
Both bodies, that's the downside,
Well,
both bodies would have to.
it would have to be at our discretion since it's our bid. So they would have to be willing for those terms.
Because it's, in the past, it's been a split vote.
Ron?
I think your biggest issue is going to be billing, that the appropriate city or county is supposed to pay the bill. Are they going to give you two bills?
I don't think that would be an issue at all, because I mean, it's clear which are county roads, which are city roads, and what's being done.
When they bill for the asphalt company, the asphalt company doesn't care where you're laying. They want to send a bill. Can you separate them out?
They separate ours by each road.
Yeah, it's separated by road.
We've actually ran that last year. I took care of getting some bids for in the school system, which was separate from us, but they worked with us, and we actually got the information for them, the pricing, and the bill. I don't know if it came through us or the school went directly, but they separate all that.
So I guess if we're inclined to move forward in this direction, I would think the motion would simply be that we would allow the city to participate with us in the asphalt bid, pending the legalities determined by both attorneys and subject to the final decision of the court in accepting the bids.
Is that something we have to vote on today, or could it be, I would really like to see here.
We're you all voted to approve this bid, but we've talked about it, we were going to put the bids out, have the bids open on the 17th of May, that way they would be able on the 21st to be voted on, because it has to be done, it has to be done.
And I don't know, Myron, we meet on May the 7th. I don't know if that's enough time.
Well, I don't wanna get caught up some kind of legality here.
Well,
that I'm not
that's what I'm
sure
saying.
about.
If the attorneys determine that legally we can't do it,
But they haven't yet, though.
but what I'm saying, the motion would be that we would allow them to participate if it's determined that they legally can, and the city is also fine with the court making the final decision on who is awarded the bid.
So that
So
won't,
if the attorneys come back and say we can't do it, it will be a moot point. If the city says we don't want to be tied to your decision, it would be a moot point.
well, I don't want to delay what the county's doing as far as taking out asphalt.
No, we're not going to delay that.
That's a tough one, I think.
Well, I mean, I guess it could be. I think it's pretty simple. If,
Well, I don't want the city to get involved with our procedure, as far as this bidding. Of course, you said the specification of the asphalt's the same.
yeah,
I would want to make sure they understood what our specs were. I mean, ultimately, if it saves money, that's what we're trying to accomplish, saving money.
right. And like I said, the way, and Pam may have already written this down, she may have written it down 3 times yet. The way I would word the motion is that we allow the city to participate with us pending the determination on the legalities and their willingness to accept our final decision on accepting the bids.
And that won't hamper, whether they agree with it or not, that won't hamper you want to award a bid May the 17th or whatever.
The bids are based on state specifications.
Okay.
This is just my guess, is this not going to affect us at all, it may benefit them.
Gotcha.
You can buy far more than what the city
Gotcha.
will use, so I don't think it will affect me or county one way or the other, I would think, as long as legally done, I don't think that would be a problem.
As long as it doesn't affect the county, I don't really have a problem with it, but if there's something there that could, then
But the next question is, if we vote on this today, the bids will go out before our next court meeting, is that right?
No, bids will go out. We have one more court meeting, but it's not in time to determine this and do the bids.
The notice would have to be in before.
Yeah, the notice would have to be in before our next court meeting. That's why if we would have to make a determination today, and attorneys would have to verify it. That's why I'm saying it'd be subject to the attorneys determining the legality and the city's willingness to accept our final acceptance of the bid.
When's the next city meeting?
Should be next Monday.
I mean, that's, as you noted, it's a 2-step process, even if, Mr. Crabtree.
It's actually a 3-step. We would be willing to vote, then you guys have to determine it's legal, and then the city would have to be willing to.
Let me clarify, provided you all vote in affirmative today, it's a 2-step process.
Right.
If Mr. Crabtree and I determine,
that we can't do it.
that we can do it, then the city's gonna have to vote and say, yeah, we're okay with you all making the call without having to make a separate vote on accepting the bid. I think the ball is in.
And if they're not willing to allow us to make that determination, it'd be a moot point anyway, too.
It would be, but I'm just saying, it's not just whether Mr. Crabtree and I say, yeah, it's okay. The city fathers and mothers are gonna have to say, yeah, we're okay with y'all making the call on the bid. And they probably are, but I'm just saying, they still have to make a decision to that effect. And if they don't, then it doesn't happen. And so, but it's up, you can certainly, if you're interested in doing what the judge proposes, there's nothing wrong with, passing a motion directing to do this, subject to the conditions you laid out. It's just, I was also wanting to make sure the city was going to meet before all this happened, because they're going to have to make a call that they're okay with us, this body here, saying this is what it is, whether the city, without the city's blessing, separate blessing.
It sounds to me like there's a whole lot of uncertainty in this.
I don't think there's anything uncertain other than whether we're willing to allow them to be in.
I mean, we don't know the legality, we don't know if they're gonna do it.
Well, we know they want to do it. We know they want to do it.
Now, what I was talking about, Marty, is not whether they're going to do it or not, but it's just the formality has to be observed.
Are they okay with us being the final say on who gets awarded the bid?
When the bid goes out, will it be under Simpson County, or is it gonna be under Simpson County and the city of Franklin?
My suggestion.
I would say that we will solicit the bids that you're bidding for asphalt for Simpson County and the city of Franklin.
Exactly. I think you put it out there when you if you're going to do this, you need to advertise it. Honesty in advertising, straightforward. You put both governmental bodies in the bid, and that way your vendors know who they're dealing with and what their parameters are. No, I don't think the city will have a problem with what we're talking about, Marty. It's just there's a hoop that has to be jumped through.
And it's just if they do, then it doesn't matter. Then this will be tossed out anyway, according to.
So we'll go ahead with our bid process.
No matter what the city decides, we're moving ahead with our bid process.
The issue is whether
they will be included
or not.
And that will be determined by whether or not the attorneys say that it's legal to do, and whether the city is willing to accept our.
So basically, the metaphor you're using is the train's leaving the station. They can either get on and ride or not.
Right.
But the train's leaving the station no matter what.
It's not going to affect the county either way.
No.
Unless it's a money saver.
Right. Like Bobby said, we're not out to save any money. It may save the city a little money.
Which people, the city of Franklin do live in the confines of Simpson County.
Yeah, and they pay their county taxes just like the people that live outside the city.
I'll make the motion of the words that.
I need to ask, but maybe before, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Excuse me. Do we need to include something, because we've authorized the county to advertise, but do we need to include something about authorized to advertise for the county and the city?
So there's so many questions on this. That's what I was saying. There's a lot of uncertainty.
I mean, there's a real tiny technicality, but you just have to be.
I don't.
The audit standards.
I will say this, and this will be something that'll be determined by Sam and the city attorney. I would say that we would not have to change what we've bid there, because I mean, whether it's inside the city limits or not, that road's still in Simpson County. So, and if that is a legality that tosses it out the window, then so be it. It'll just be tossed out, and we'll be back to bidding just roads outside the city limits, and they'll be left to their own anyway. So the motion would be to allow the city to participate in the asphalt bid process pending the determination of the legalities and the city's willingness to accept our final decision on the awarding of the bid.
Subject to approval, city.
And you make that in the form of a motion, Nate?
Yeah, I was seeing if he's got it all written down.
Yeah.
City and county attorneys and cities. To accept decision.
You're good?
All right, I make the motion of going with the county judge, where is that saying?
So Nate made the motion, we need a second.
Second.
Scott, second.
Nathaniel Downing,
Yes.
Scott Poston.
Yes.
Marty Chandler,
No.
Myron Thurman,
No.
Mason Warren.
Yes. All right, I'll follow on with my report. One thing, I want to remind all of you that's in attendance and gentlemen up here, there is a open house at Loft 113, which is the apartments above the Willow Hill Marketplace from 11 to 1 today. If you get a chance to stop by there, stop by. Also, this Saturday on the courthouse lawn downtown is the Soaky Earth Day and the Cherry Blossom Festival. So if you get a chance to get out, I think it is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the courthouse lawn. And one other item, spoke with Keith Bronk from Compass Municipal Advisors about this whole pension situation. So we had a pretty long conversation, and he emailed me some more information on what the pension, the realities of the pension and what it will be. And I asked him, did he ever do anything like come and speak to fiscal courts, and he said he would be glad to come. So we checked on some dates over the next week or so to see when he would be available, because he would be coming from Lexington. So what I would like to propose, if all of you are able to make this, would be on Friday, April 26th. He can be here at 9:30 a.m. and I would like that to be a budget planning session and allow Mr. Brock to address the court in that 9:30 a.m. on Friday the 26th. Donzella?
Judge, if permitted, I'd like to also remind everyone of Habitat for Humanity pancake breakfast on this Saturday.
At the Presbyterian Church?
Presbyterian Church, beginning at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
$5.
Is everyone okay with the 26th at 9:30 a.m.?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, we'll set that as the next budget planning session, and I will confirm with Mr. Brock that we're good to have him here. All right, I think that's all I have. Mr. Chandler?
Yeah, me and you talking about the budget planning session, and I'll get a copy of this for all you all, because you asked if we could look at numbers to let everybody know. Is 490 still the number you're looking at?
493.
490, okay, I'll put 490,000. When we talked about that fire truck, that had the intention to come out of surplus anyway.
Right.
So that was 180,000 right there.
Correct.
So it's got it down to 310. I'm still advocating for 25 from the city and 15 from the ambulance for 911. That's 40, and that gets it down to 270. I would like to combine the tourism under the chamber and get a 4% administrative fee for that money.
I've already plugged that into the budget
Okay.
numbers I'm working on.
And let the, not give an allocation to the chamber, let the chamber operate off the tourism dollars that they're coming in. That gets it down to 232. Like to add another 60 out of the commissary from the jail to medical. That gets it down to 172. If we do a 70-30 split with the industrial board, that's 50,000. That gets it down to 122. If Jolene's office does not replace the employee that is not there now, or that has quit, and there were I think two at the jail about 3 years ago that were supposed to retire that never did, that had a position, had someone come in their place, but the ones that were going to retire are still there, then plus the others go. So if one of them are ready to retire, 2 employees will be minimum of $100,000. That gets it down to $22,000 without any tax increases, without anything. And we had to keep in mind, guys, that every year, just based off tax basis, our property taxes will go up $75,000 or $100,000 a year. Just, with the numbers that come in. So, with the additional amount of investments put into the community.
I don't know that we've seen that rate of increase on the property tax.
We see some increases on
Yeah,
property
we'll
tax,
see some, but I don't know if it'll be 100,000.
But so-
that'll be good. I mean, if you want to get us copies of that for that budget session, that'll be good.
And that also leaves us another year to look at what other services we can combine.
Yeah.
It seems the city's being very willing to want to work with the county on a lot of things, so maybe there's some city-county services that can be combined, and next year we won't have to raise taxes again. I'm trying to be as physically conservative with the tax dollars as possible, and that's all that's how I feel we all should be.
So you'll have us all copies?
I'm sure Pam will
Okay.
want to make copies, and you all can have that. I've been, going over them in mine, and then, writing it down and studying on it, and along with everything else I do, you wake up every morning thinking about stuff like this, so.
Believe me, I've gone over it and over it and over it and over it, and I think what Mr. Brock will come and share with you about the pension is we're going to see that we have an obstacle that we can't cut our way out of, and I hate that, because it's not of our doing.
But
I wish we could, but
I totally understand that.
Yeah.
But raising revenue should be absolutely the last resort.
Yeah. Mr. Downey?
No report this time.
Mr. Poston? Mr. Stoney?
None today.
None today. Mr. Phillips?
Today's the day, or yesterday was the day, that they went over the last day to pay the sheriff's office, and so they're going over to the county clerk's office, and they're no longer late, they're delinquent, and we got a few days to pay before even more penalties kick in, and there's going to be a tax sale in August, so the longer you wait, the more it's going to cost. Hate to be the bearer of unhappy tidings.
All right. Sheriff, you have anything to share?
Only with the ending of the tax bills, we finished up at about 98.4% paid, which is outstanding. And that's really, really good. So bad news is bills are being turned over to the clerk's office. Good news is 1.6 of the bills is gone. So that's really done well by Simpson County.
Okay. Obviously, our county clerk's not with us today. She's had surgery, I believe, one day last week, and I guess is still recovering from that, so we wish her well and hope everything's going well with her. Chad, on behalf of the jailer, is there anything you need to share?
I want to say this. I know Marty brought up commissary, it's been a hot topic. I invite each and every one of you guys to come down there. I've shared some information with the judge. I've asked Marty to come down there twice. You guys come down there, we've got commissary broke down, and we'll be glad to show you what comes in, what goes out, and what it's used for. I know it's been a very hot topic, so.
Bill, you have anything to share? Nelson, on behalf of the fire chief, anything?
We're good.
Bobby?
Yeah, I have a request.
Okay.
I hate to bring up.
Does it something you need to?
Well, it might be.
Okay.
I hate to bring up the asphalt wheels again, but that's not going to be good. Before we put that bid out, I would like to add a clause in there. This past month, I looked into a grant that the state provides using modified rubber asphalt. And they actually pay what's equivalent to about 1.25 miles, a little bit more, free, but they ask for an additional area comparison, so they run it's a 5-year test. I actually got a bid on it this year to do it, and I thought it was extremely high. And I talked to a guy at the state, and he was questioning the amount himself. And he suggested, since we have 2 competitive bidders most of the time, he said, when you do your bids, you may want to add a statement in there that says that we could advertise for bid this modified rubber asphalt separate from the bid we have. So in other words, next spring, we could put out for bid specifically for that project.
So this would amend the bid language to read that we would reserve the right to bid
This modified
modified.
asphalt rubber separately. It's a long shot if you get it, but I have a road in mind that I think would work, because they're pretty strict on their guidelines, and they have not done one in this region since they've been doing it. So he said they're actually maybe to our advantage that you can get it. So you're talking about $50,000–$60,000 worth of paving done. So, but that was his suggestion, that somehow we phrased it that we reserve the right to specifically do that separately later in the year. So, if you're interested, and we may do it, may not come to anything, but at least we'd be ready to try.
So we probably do need that in the form of a motion to add that language to the bid.
Yes. If you're changing what you're advertising for, then yes.
Yeah.
That asphalt bid will be 3 pages long.
And we wouldn't be advertising for that now.
Right. Just be a notation in the bid to reserve the right to do so.
Motion.
Scott's made a motion to amend the language in the bid.
Second.
Nate seconded.
Scott Poston,
Yes.
Nathaniel Downing,
Yes.
Artie Taylor,
Yes.
Ryan Thurman,
Yes.
Mason Morris,
Yes. And one last one, John, on behalf of the Emergency Management Director, do you have anything to share with the court? Okay. All right. Then, gentlemen, I need to ask for a vote to go into executive session based on KRS 61.810, exceptions to open meetings, paragraph 1C, discussions of proposed or pending litigation against or on behalf of the public agency, and paragraph 1F, personnel, discussions or hearings which might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual or employee. Can I have a motion to move to executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Myron made the motion, Marty second.
Ryan Thurman,
Yes.
Artie Taylor,
Yes.
Nathaniel Downing,
Yes.
Scott Poston,
Yes.
Mason Morris,
Yes.